Sophie, so let's look at Ghana receiving vaccinations yesterday. That was a report we had. Is this a sign that the African continent is getting its act together on vaccinations?
Francis, it was a tough road, but it looks like now Africa is beginning to ensure that all countries are on board, thanks to the COVAX facility that was established by the World Health Organization. Yesterday, 600 doses that were received by the Ghanaian leadership. So it looks like we are now getting there. But let's take a listen at what the advisor of the CDC had to say about where we are as a continent in terms of ensuring that all countries, we see these vaccination in all countries, not only the few countries like South Africa, like your Ghana, like your Zimbabwe. Let's take a listen at Dr. Nakaise Ndembi.
Ghana started, rolling out COVID-19 vaccines. So in the next coming days, there are about 20 other countries supported through the AVAT, the Africa Vaccine Acquisition Task Team, established by the African Union. That will also roll out COVID-19 vaccine. So we're definitely going to be at least 50% of member states on the continent that have actually introduced COVID-19 vaccine. I think at this stage is really commendable. I think with support from other institutions like the European Union to support vaccine delivery on the continent, these are going to be really in the next coming days being really on a good path for as far as COVID-19 vaccine delivery is concerned.
Francis, many countries around the world saying that, particularly the developed nations, saying that they are going to assist poorer nations and they are also going to make vaccines available. You know that they've bought stocks in terms of the vaccines from different companies, and they are saying that they will make those vaccines available to poorer nations, but also to contribute to the COVAX facility.
Still, Sophie, there's talk of Africa being so left behind. We're seeing vaccination rollouts in other parts of the world. Ghana, yes, receiving, but this is a drop in the ocean. Dire predictions around tourism say people may want to go to countries that are on top of their vaccination rollouts. So what is the AU, what are African officials saying about this and how we can deal with it?
Well, of course, the AU is working hard to ensure that they give support to the Africa CDC Center. But you know that the AU, when President Ramaphosa was the chair of the AU, they established a special facility as a continent to procure vaccines. And therefore, they are saying that they have made progress. But the CDC and the AU are working with the World Health Organization, the regional body, that the Sub-Sahara region, and they are confident that Africa will catch up. Let's take a listen at Dr. Fiona Atihebwe, who is actually the officer at the WHO in Brussels on issues that are related to vaccination.
We are celebrating the first of the COVAX vaccines being delivered to Ghana, the first country globally outside the COVAX facility. So what are our priorities? Well, we have 192 COVAX facility participants. And what was agreed was that because we are talking of equity, each country is going to get at least 20% of their population covered within the first one by the end of 2021. But the countries have to meet some minimum criteria. Number one, the countries need to sign some indemnification and liability agreements. Their regulatory pathways must be very cleared, and they must put out their import licenses on top of making sure that they have a deployment plan and all that. Now, are we having issues with securing the doses? The issue is the COVAX facility will only give out vaccine that has been approved for emergency use listing by the World Health Organization. And so far we know that is Pfizer that received the EUL in December, approval for EUL, and we have the AstraZeneca that received that approval just last week.
Well, it's a race against time for other pharmaceutical companies to present their reports around their investigations and their development of the vaccines. And we are hoping that next week we will see more announcement from the World Health Organization in terms of the vaccines that have been approved.
Sophie, finally, very quickly, the WHO head has chastised developed countries for buying vaccines, for looking inward to their populations and not contributing to COVAX. The French president has warned it just could create, exacerbate the inequality. Then the US president, the new one, Joe Biden, saying they would contribute to COVAX. Are we seeing a change of heart where those donations desperately needed could start coming in?
Since the establishment of the COVAX facility, I can say I have been monitoring the story. And since the election of the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, it looks like particularly the G7 have taken a different position. While at that time when the facility was launched, they did make commitments. They didn't really implement those commitments. But now it looks like there's competition in terms of who is going to ensure that perhaps he is doing more in assisting the WHO. And we know that now, like Macron has announced that they will give poor countries vaccines. And many countries have also made such an announcement. And also China is pushing now to give donations to different countries, particularly on the continent. And it looks like we're getting there, but it's still a long way to go. A lot of money is needed to ensure that the COVAX facility is able to procure enough vaccines that can be distributed to poorer nations around the world, Francis.
Yeah, mountain to climb. Thank you very much, Foreign Editor Sophie Mokoena. We take a short break. Lots more to come on The Full View before we wrap up.